All right, guys. Today in this episode, I'd like to talk to y'all a little bit about things you should think about before purchasing a Sulcata tortoise. One thing is, if they do not stay the size of a speed bump here for very long at all, um, she's about 4 or 5 years old, and this is Dozer. He's about 15 years old or so, and he's 46 pounds actually, and she's 12. And both of them, when they was hatched, they would fit in the palm of your hand. And now you see how big Dozer's done got, and speed bump will most likely get around maybe 30 pounds or so when she's full grown. Tortoises really don't ever get full grown. They can continue to grow all their life. But Dozer here, he is strong as an ox. So they do not make good indoor pets. It's possible, but you have to do a lot of work with him. He will go through a sheetrock wall like it's nothing. I have to have plywood in my shed there. I have to have plywood so he doesn't go through the wall. He'll tear up the insulation. He's just strong. You would not believe the strength that he has. But like I said, they start out in this palm of your hand, and then in a few years, they get to her size, and she's manageable inside. It's not impossible to keep her inside, but within 3 or 4 years of this you start getting into the range of him, and he is just impossible to keep inside. Their poops for him are, they're huge, so you got to keep that in mind. The bathroom deal, they will make a mess in a hurry. They eat a lot, and that means they poop a lot, and that could be a big deal breaker for keeping them inside. Now I know a lot of people in the north will keep them out inside, and the tortoises do great. But it's a lot of work for their keepers, and they're a lot more happier outside in the natural sun, natural grasses. I keep them with grass all the time. You have to replant it some and keep it watered in the summertime to keep them some grass growing. But they love being outside, and they do become quite friendly. Dozer here is a little bit bullish, and Sulcatas have been known to be pretty aggressive tortoises. But I have a few, Luigi and Mario. They end up being quite friendly little tortoises. And but Dozer here, he will mow you over in the breeding season when he gets aggressive. He will mow you over, and it does not feel good when he hits you. He's really strong. Next thing to keep in mind around little kids, especially with tortoise his size, little kids, if they're trying to feed them, watch out for his beak. I'm sorry, buddy, I didn't mean to scare you. But you gotta watch out for their beak up there when they're eating. A little kid gets his finger close to that or something. It's going to hurt, and if a little kid, he could remove a finger. I'm not saying he will, but he very well likely could. So you keep that in mind. But they do make great pets if you keep them. If you have a big yard or a decent sized yard, and can give them plenty of room to roam, they do make great pets. Another thing to keep in mind is that they will burrow, especially in the hot summertime, or if you're up north and it's getting close to wintertime. They do in their natural range in Africa. They'll burrow to keep away from the heat in the intense sun in Africa. And here in Georgia, and around the summertime, they will burrow because it gets really hot here, and they will burrow down from your hand all the way up to your shoulder in a day's worth of time. They don't take long to make a very deep hole. and if they can get up to 10 foot deep and even deeper. So that's something else to keep in mind. You have to have your fences, their enclosure has to be pretty deep, so they don't escape, because they will tunnel out of an enclosure quite easily. So you have to have probably 3 or 4 foot deep is ideal, or down from the edges of your enclosure. He will get bigger than this. Like I said, 85, 90 pounds. He's only 46. So keep that in mind. And then, like I said, there's no reason they get a bad rap for being bad pets, and I don't think they deserve it. I think they just need to be given a proper chance in a proper environment, and they could be your friend for years and years to come, and quite a joy to keep. So don't overlook sulcatas just because of the bad rap they get. Do your research, and they do make wonderful pets. They just take the right person and right environment to shine. So the key thing to really talk about is food. These right here, a lot of people will make the mistake of, and you can see in Speed Bump's case here, she was fed dog food and bread. And sulcata tortoises do not need to have any kind of meat or bread. They need mostly just wild grasses like it is in their enclosure, or collard greens, mustard greens, squash, cucumber, zucchini. They love any kind of produce, vegetable wise, and anything green. They love it. Now, it's been said, don't feed them too much of the mustard greens, because it kind of messes with their body's ability to absorb calcium. So mustard greens is something you'd want to try and avoid, as well as fruits. They can have some fruit in moderation, maybe once or twice a week, but you do not want to feed them more than once or twice a week, like strawberries, bananas. Dozer loves bananas. He loves blueberries. But you don't want to feed that to them in excess, because that can give them too much sugar, and that'll mess them up too. If you want them to be healthy, you keep feeding them greens and vegetables. They love peppers. Speed Bump, she loves the red peppers. But yeah, that's some things I wish I knew before I got sulcatas. And so that's why I want to make this video, to help anybody that's thinking about getting one to weigh the pros and cons. Pros, they are friendly with tortoises, and they're quite a joy to have. But cons, they're hard to keep indoors, because like I said, he will go through a sheetrock wall like it's nothing. You have to have a good, strong plywood walls, and also, if you have like linoleum or laminated floors, they will try and dig. Either they can scratch up and mess up your floors also. So I keep a big, heavy horse stall mat in there to try and keep from messing up the linoleum floor they have in their shed here, just to make cleaning out a lot easier. But yeah, if you are to care for them, and if you can meet all those requirements, you can keep them outside, keep them from escaping. If you're able to dig a ditch. And here is Luigi. I don't mind my knit hat in the background. It just fell off my head as I was trying to film. But there's Luigi, and he is, I think he weighed 14 or 15 pounds when the last episode. So they do get quite large tortoises. Redfoots will get about the same size as him, but they'll stay that size, Luigi size, their whole life pretty much. So redfoots are a little bit better species for someone that has to keep them indoors. And that's something to keep in mind. Sulcatas and leopards would be good for someone indoors, and sulcatas are better kept outdoors, in my opinion, or in large, maybe like greenhouses or something. But here's just another example he has some bad pyramiding because he was also fed improper diet. Yeah, like I said, he was fed improper diet, so that's something to keep in mind. That's what happens to them if you don't feed them properly and keep them with the right humidity. But yeah, I just wanted to go over a few little tips about sulcatas and to make you think before buying. Because a lot of people do impulse buys, and then the poor tortoises end up being up for adoption, and it's just not a good situation for everybody. And think before you decide to get a sulcata tortoise for your benefit and the tortoises, and more importantly the tortoises' benefit, where they'll go to someone who knows what they're doing and will give them a good healthy life. Because like I said, Luigi's my little buddy, and I hate that he was I wouldn't say mistreated, but just ignorance on the keeper's part. But like I said, they make great pets if you give them the right environment. And so just keep that in mind, guys. Sulcata tortoises are the third largest land tortoise in the world, right behind Galapagos tortoises and Aldabras. The Sudanese subspecies of sulcata can get over 150 pounds, the males can. But these guys like Dozer here will probably only get top out maybe 80 to 90 pounds. But that's still a huge tortoise. So that's just something you got to keep in mind. And don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Because someone just trying to make a quick buck, they'll lie to you in a heartbeat. And that's why so many of them end up for adoption. And that's how I got Luigi and Speed Bump and several of them. But yeah, just do your research and just. All right, guys, that'll do it for this episode here. Just a quick little overview of what I think you should know before getting a sulcata tortoise. I want to eventually make a more in-depth video, really going over everything that I wish I knew before taking